Remember, the whole issue here is about money. It's about economics. Does the government really care if you get sick from the food you eat? Or do they just care about being sued from it and losing their money? In truth, do they really care about you and your family? Or are they just watching out for themselves, their organizations, and their businesses?
Be the guru of you. Be the guru of you. Do. Be the guru of you. The guru of you.
Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Q and you're watching the Guru of You TV show, empowering you to become the guru of your own life at theguruofyou.com. And today I would like to speak about a very important issue that is upon us, and that is the S510 Food Safety Modernization Act that was just passed by the Senate last night. I've written a few words about this, and I would like to go ahead and read that to you. The purpose of this video is to shed some light on this issue, and to hopefully ease the minds and the hearts of some of the people who are so enraged about this bill. One of the most intelligent and brilliant beings who has ever walked this earth was Albert Einstein. He once made a simple statement that rings true and is extremely relevant to this issue of the S510 bill. The quote is, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." It seems as though the level of consciousness that created this S510 issue is one that focuses on power, greed, money, big business, and monopoly. You see these things all over the world. It comes from a level of consciousness that is mostly unaware of the damage that is being done to our planet and our people by the way we are choosing to live. Consider this level of consciousness one end of the spectrum. Remember, a huge majority of the nation and the world will not be directly affected by this bill because their lifestyle is simply outside of the scope of limitation that this bill imposes. These are the people who are not into health. They don't know about organic or natural or eco-friendly. These are the people who have not yet been introduced to the conscious green lifestyle. They just don't know it yet. Their path has not yet led them there, and perhaps it never will. These people are an overwhelming majority of the human population on this planet. They simply go with what the government says and believe what they are told and don't really question anything. They are stuck in the rat race and in the illusion of this current reality. Most importantly, their spiritual search has not yet begun. At the other end of the spectrum, there are the people who are opposing this bill, who are angered by it, who feel cheated, and who feel that their rights are being taken away. These are the people who are filing the petitions, calling the senators, and are fearful of the outcome of this new bill. I also filed the petition, and I shared it with thousands of my social media friends on Facebook and beyond. If you know who I am, you will know that I am an advocate for healthy living, and I shop almost exclusively at local farmers markets. I teach about spirituality and functioning from consciousness in life. I am part of the tiny, tiny minority of people on this planet who may actually be directly affected by this bill because of their lifestyle. And if you're watching this, then you are probably in the same boat as I am. You see the destruction of this beautiful world and you want to change it. But what I realized this morning is how much the Albert Einstein quote I cited earlier applies to this issue. That quote, once again, is, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." What I realized was that by fighting this bill, by becoming angered about it, by becoming fearful, by resisting it, by trying to control the outcome, we are basically functioning from the same level of consciousness that created the problem in the first place. The people who wrote this bill are functioning from fear, fight, control, manipulation, and all the other negative tendencies of egoic consciousness. I realize that we need to come from a higher level of consciousness when dealing with this issue. And all issues, really. Instead of functioning from mind-made fear, anger, and fury, what would it be like if we functioned from love? What would it be like if we truly come from a higher level of understanding? What if we rise above it on a level of being that cannot be affected by any laws that are put in place by government? Let me ask you this. Where do laws exist? Where does anger exist? Where does opposition exist? Does it actually exist in reality? Or does it only exist in our minds? Without human minds, would any laws exist? Without our imagination and our mental beliefs, can any laws, mandates, and ordinances even survive? No, they can't, because they only exist in our minds, in our beliefs, and in our imaginations. Without our minds, the laws are null and void. Without our minds, all borders on the map would be simply dissolved, naturally. That is the whole problem with the world. We are collectively functioning from our minds and not from our hearts. It is time to change the world by being, not by doing. If doing and activism were the answer, don't you think they would have worked by now? Yes, they do have an effect, but as a whole, is the world in a more comfortable place than it was 10 years ago? Or do our problems and global issues seem to be getting larger and more imminent? We must change our level of consciousness and function from love instead of fear. Whatever you fight becomes stronger. Whatever you resist persists. Anything you oppose, you give energy to and it grows. Only by rising above the issue can it actually have the opportunity to change into something better. There are many popular websites and organizations that have been strongly opposing this bill and orchestrating petitions and urging us to take action against it. This is great, and if you feel so inclined, take action. I did, and you probably did too. Do what you feel is right, but don't buy into the health propaganda. I have watched some videos and read some articles that oppose the S510 bill, and I was stunned to read and hear some of the messages that were being conveyed. I was amazed at how much judgment and condemnation that was being expressed. Although these people are fighting for what many of us believe is right, their videos and many of their articles are propaganda nonetheless. And if you buy into anything without knowing the truth for yourself, then you are buying into what someone else is feeding you. And that is the same level of consciousness that created our problems in the first place. Now be truthful. How many of us who oppose the S510 bill have actually read it for ourselves? How many of us have taken the time and put in the effort to do the research and read the language and the amendments ourselves to have a true understanding of the bill? Or did we just see a lot of posts on Facebook and elsewhere by the health gurus, and we decided to buy into their point of view? Personally, I never read the bill, but I did file the petitions. This is the same level of consciousness that created the problem in the first place. We are buying into something we don't actually know to be true for our own selves. We are still acting like sheep. I'm not saying that we shouldn't file the petitions or support the effort against the bill. That's not it. What I am saying is that we should be aware of what we're getting ourselves into instead of blindly getting involved in something that we truly have no actual knowledge about. We only have beliefs and aligning points of view with others who we trust as the health gurus if we have not done the research and read the bill ourselves. Again, this is the same level of consciousness that created the problem in the first place. And it doesn't really matter which side you're on. You are still on one extreme end of the spectrum instead of being centered and present with the truth of the matter. These petitions that we file and the calls that we make to our senators do have an impact, but obviously not large enough. The bill is passed. For all of you who oppose this bill, ask yourselves this question. Are my choices on a day-to-day basis congruent with my stance on this bill? Your choices that you make on a daily basis about what you eat, how you drive, how you raise your kids, what you watch on TV, how you treat others, how much trash you create, and the state of mind you're in, and most importantly, how you spend your hard-earned money, are much more powerful than any petition you fill out or votes that you make. Day-to-day life is where the rubber hits the road. That's what is real. Deceptive bills and oppositions to them are nothing compared to how you choose to live your life. Remember, the whole issue here is about money. It's about economics. Does the government really care if you get sick from the food you eat? Or do they just care about being sued from it and losing their money? In truth, do they really care about you and your family? Or are they just watching out for themselves, their organizations, and their businesses? These are the types of questions you should be asking. One valuable piece of awareness that I have gained on my spiritual quest is that anything that is true will make you feel lighter and bring you into the present moment and make you feel love. Anything that is not true, anything that is a lie, will always make you feel heavier, will provoke thought, worry, fear, and anxiety. But don't just take my word for it. Try it out for yourself. And then ask yourself, did reading these articles about opposing the S510 bill and watching the propaganda against it make me feel lighter and feel love? Or did it make me feel heavier and instill fear, worry, and anxiety in me? See what you get. Personally, a lot of the things I read and watched online opposing the S510 bill did not make me feel lighter or feel love. It made me feel fearful, worried, anxiety-ridden, and definitely not present. Thankfully, I have enough awareness and intuitive abilities to know that most of what was conveyed was a lie, and that the bill is not all that it is made out to be by the health gurus.